All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to session 0. I'm excited. Are you all excited?
So excited.
Very.
So, welcome to the channel. This is Tabletop Bob. My name is Bob. I am going to be your dungeon master for this campaign. We are going to be playing the original D&D module, The Keep on the Borderlands. So pumped. I have a lovely group here today. We're going to go through the entire crew except for one member, although you'll see Jeff, we recorded his roles and session 0 stuff last night, so we'll be playing that soon. I just want to say that if you're new to the channel, you should definitely hit subscribe and like this video and make sure that you don't miss another upload because this campaign is kicking off in just a week. We're going to be playing next week on Wednesday, and we're going to be seeing what characters get rolled up today. All right, so we're going to go through and introduce the group. We're going to go around, kind of like around the horn we have here. We're going to go Chris, then Fritz. We'll jump down to Nate, Tim, and John. I've already prepped them. They're going to tell you a little bit about their experience with gaming and D&D specifically, because this adventure is old school, but we're playing in 5th edition. And I had a little bit of a contrast here. We have 3 players who are, experienced veterans, and 3 players who their first experience with D&D was 5th edition. So with that in mind, let's start with Chris.
Hey everybody, how are you? So my name is Chris, and I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons ever since that red box came out, that basic D&D red box back in the mid-'80s. And over the years, I've played a lot. I've played all of the different expansions a little bit, some more than others. Currently, I'm playing a lot of Pathfinder 2nd edition with my buddies. But here we are playing some old school D&D. And I typically end up playing rogues. But I think we're going to just kind of roll the dice, old school, and see what happens. And then I'm going to let the dice decide what I play. So this should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like you said, let the dice decide. When we get to our house rules, we're going to talk about our method, but it's going to be harsh, kind of like it was back in the day. All right, let's get back to the group here. So next up is Fritz.
Hey guys, it's Fritz. Really, really excited to be playing with this group and jumping back to real old school. Like Chris, I started with the D&D Red Box and AD&D. It's been a long time since I played hardcore, and it's been interesting to see through the different editions how D&D has evolved. And I've gone on record saying I even like D&D 4.0, mostly playing 5th edition now. So to get that 5th edition flavor going back to this classic red box adventure, just really excited. And we're going to see what the dice roll. I know the characters I'd like to play, but I think the dice are going to decide it for us.
Yeah, you're very willing to accept it, both of you. I love it.
Yeah, we'll accept that fate. I still want 18s, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
All right, now we're going to go down to Nate.
Well, howdy, everybody. I'm very excited to be playing in this campaign, hoping to learn a lot from some of these veterans coming in. I just started playing in 5e with Descent to Avernus, led by none other than Bob. So I'm pretty new, only about 2 years, a year and a half in. Very excited to play a hardcore mode. I've always been, a fantasy gamer with PC and consoles, but this has been my new love, new interest. So I'm excited for this. We'll see what character I roll. I'm gonna go with whatever the team needs and whatever the dice dictate.
Needs matter not.
Yeah, apparently need or just we'll see. Very excited.
Nice job. So let's go to Tim.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Tim. Like Nate, I also played in Descent to Avernus with Bob already. My D&D journey starts, I don't know, a little bit before them. Maybe 3.5 years ago. I started playing at a summer camp with some friends of mine. We only played 5th edition, but it was classic D&D. We had to play in the basement because his girlfriend wouldn't let us play upstairs. Oof. So played a lot of 5e. Have not played any of the original. Love some tabletop game, and now super into it. So made the dice be in our favor, gentlemen.
That couple, they're no longer dating. Just I'm assuming. I don't know. All right, and last but not least, John.
Hi, everyone. I also started playing in Descent to Avernus with Bob for my first time, I guess about a year and a half ago. I really enjoyed it. I played in another campaign and a couple other short ones since then. Really looking forward to playing a little hardcore D&D. Really looking forward to having death be just on the horizon at all times and be really afraid. And yeah, good luck, everyone.
Good, and I think that you're right. Having death like right there is what's going to make this game really interesting, because it is a well, just to clarify for everybody home, we are going to be playing a 5th edition version of the Keep on the Borderlands. I have the book, the hardbound Goodman Games Into the Borderlands, which has the original module as well as the conversion and a bunch of the additions of it, a couple of other add-ons to the adventure. We're going to be running this with my spin on it, and so I'm excited to, even though this was meant as an introduction, it's going to be a full-fledged campaign. We're going to make it a full-fledged campaign for 5th edition. So last but not least, actually should be Jeff. So Jeff went a little bit more in depth. I played with Jeff a bunch of throughout 5th edition. In fact, I ran Curse of Strahd for him. He's in a group that I play in for the last few years. So I know Jeff very well, and I've known some of his stories about his time playing D&D back in the day, but we kind of did a little quick interview. I'm going to show it. You'll be able to see it on the screen too, all of you. I believe if I've set this up right, which I'm almost certain I did. So let's see if I did it right. If I didn't, then it's just a waste. I'll put that interview out as a separate video. But Jeff is pretty accomplished in the gaming world. I'm going to see if this works. Maybe it doesn't. Let's find out. Here we go. Nope. Awesome. Let's try it again. Let's go back. Let's go back a minute. Let's go back. It wouldn't be a session 0 if there weren't any technical glitches, right? Got to get the kinks out.
That's a 3 intelligence for you.
Yep.
How many lines of the Jeopardy song can I hum before you have to pay for it?
It's fair enough. Fair enough. All right, well, we're going to go back to our main screen here. I know why. I think I know why. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
Loving the transitions, by the way.
You like them?
A lot, yeah.
Good.
We're already
I'm
building the
nervous.
suspense.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Okay. Now I've got it. Watch this, everybody. Nope. And now it's just all messed up. So I'm going to see if I can get this working while we go over the rest of the session 0. I don't want to bog down here. So we're going to go back to our main screen. But I'm going to try to get Jeff's video working in just a sec. So for everyone here, I'm going to go over our house rules and describe the setting here. If you, at home, if you're watching, you've probably heard of Keep of the Borderlands. It's the iconic D&D adventure by Gary Gygax, where the group's headed to a keep on the outskirts of the known civilization. So everything out there is kind of new. You're on the frontier. There's a lot of danger and threats around, especially when it comes to raiders, orc, goblin, hobgoblin, and it seems that the area of the Borderlands is every day the threat is increasing. So heroes go there to test their might and their magic. So we're going to be playing in a campaign that is going to be a little bit more grim dark. We're going to have a little less fantastical elements. I want it to be more grounded. So we've already discussed this kind of before coming to session 0, that the core races like dwarf, elf, and their variations, as well as halfling, and to an extent, I guess, the gnome, are all going to be very commonplace. Human is going to be probably the majority of the populace of the area that you're from is going to be human. Races like dragonborn, half-orc, tiefling, I don't want to exclude you from being able to play them. They are in the player's handbook, but they'll look a little different. I think that aesthetically, they will be more humanoid, more human-like. They won't have the obvious features of that race. They'll be more of a blood ancestry to demons for tieflings or devils for tieflings. The dragonborn ancestry to dragons, but they will look humanoid. You'll still get all the benefits like dragonborn's breath weapon. You just may be hesitant to use that in public or do that, to show off that you are of dragon ancestry, because people would be scared of it. Half orc, half elf, those would be allowed as well. Although because the Borderlands are under threat of orcs, you may get some glaring looks from people. They may not trust you. It may be detrimental to the group in some social situations, but that could be interesting for role playing too. So that's kind of the background of the story that I'm trying to tell. Do you have anything to add, group? There's anything that questions or concerns?
Killed it.
I'm good to go. Let's start rolling some dice.
Sounds
Well,
good. Roll the dice.
Let's talk about the dice. So,
Yay.
according to our house rules, which we have a document that once it's completely finalized after this session 0, we'll be posting it underneath in the description for every episode. So if you wanted to refer to something, it'll be there. It'll be a shared doc that you can access. We're going to be using parts of the 5e hardcore mode, which I'll link down below on YouTube after the video is done. It's basically a hack or a addition to the 5e rules that makes it more deadly, makes it more dangerous. We're going to be using some aspects of it, altering some of it, and then some rules that I have just come to like by playing so much 5e. So ability scores. We're going to be rolling 3d6, just like the old school way. We're not going to be assigning them. They're going to be in order. So strength, dexterity, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. You cannot change the result. No re-rolling. The one exception to this is that we're going to be allowing the group to replace one of their stats with a 14. This is how a suggestion actually came from Jeff, who's not here to explain it, but Jeff got this idea from Stars Without Number. I really like it because I do want to limit the amount of magic in the group. We've kind of talked about that. I'd like to have maybe one arcane, one divine, and that's kind of it. I mean, if you're a paladin or something like that, that would be slightly different, but it's going to be 3d6, and you'll get one stat that you can replace with a 14. And I think that's going to be fair and balanced. Hit points, you're going to start with your max hit points at first level, but every level after that, you'll be rolling. No rerolls. So that could be really harsh for some characters, especially if they have low constitutions. Yeah, that could be really brutal for a wizard or something like that. Rests, the big change to rests that we're doing is that short rests are going to be 15 minutes to allow for more use of those characters that rely on a lot of short rests to get abilities back. The long rest is going to still be 8 hours, but you will not gain hit points back. You'll have to use hit dice just like a short rest. There's also, when it comes to dying in the game, no death saves. You're going to be, when you get to 0, you'll begin bleeding out. When you bleed out, you're going to need to be revived in some form of healing. Medical treatment, like a medical kit or anything that stabilizes someone, is actually just going to give you 1 hit point back. So that'll be fun, because who likes being on the ground unconscious for so many rounds? You're just going to be back up in the fight. But when you go out, when you go down to 0, you'll only be unconscious and bleeding out for a D3 +1 rounds. So 2 to 4 rounds to save that person. Oh, by the way, the roll is going to be secret. I will roll it. Only the audience will see it. And nobody in the group will know it. And then the last thing that we have to discuss, which we could do later, is initiative, which I'm not a fan of the initiative system, but I may be persuaded. All right. So with that being said, let's get to the rolls. We're all in roll 20. I'm going to go to each of you individually. You'll see the screen. Well, I don't know if you're watching it on my Zoom screen, so you'll see the transition. We'll have that person roll, and we'll record them down. All right, so who wants to go first?
Make the young guys go first.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Tim, you're going first.
I'm the youngest. Yeah, it's only fair.
You're going first. All right, so I'm going to switch over here.
Good luck, Tim.
3d6s, right?
Tim, it's 3d6.
All right, just tell me when to go.
Yep, we are set. We're all eyes are on you.
Uh-oh, I'm
Yes.
so nervous.
Here it goes.
Hot start with an 8. A 6
An
and
8.
2 1s.
Hope you
Okay.
didn't want to be a fighter.
All right, an 8 for strength. That's maybe not that bad. Maybe not that bad.
We'll take it for now, you know? It's not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
All right, here we go for Dex. A 9. Hot rolls. Hot rolls. Hot
So
rolls.
maybe not a fighter.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not a rogue, not a fighter.
I'm gonna record these down as well, and then I'll be updating the information on the character sheet. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right, for Constitution, we have a 12. There we go. Okay, now we're getting up there.
Hey, that's important.
For Intelligence, that's close to life. That's a 9.
Okay. Too real.
You're telling me. Wisdom. Ooh, wow, 6.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Not ideal. And
And
finally, charisma. Let's go
charisma.
real high for charisma. No, that's okay. A 7. Killing it.
now you do get to replace one with a 14, so you'll be able to choose wisely. I'll let you think about that.
Yeah,
Let
thank you,
simmer.
please.
Because there's a lot of options for this one.
Yeah, that's it's all bad news.
But you did get a 12 con, which is huge.
Yeah, I know. If
All
we're gonna have a high stat, that's okay.
That's huge. I'm not going to lie. 12 con is going to be good in the long run here. Okay, so I'm going to input those stats. Who would like to go next?
Well, I'm the next youngest.
Okay. We won't say the ages for out of respect.
Sure.
I'm going to go to your screen.
Tim,
Nate.
thanks for setting a nice low bar for me.
Yeah, man, you know me. Expectations in check.
All right.
those numbers.
So I'll dive right in. Strength. Here we go. All right.
All right. Solid
Okay.
11. You'll be carrying things for everybody.
Big man on campus. Let's go. Dexterity.
Okay.
All right.
Get some nice racial bonuses. Will buff that right up.
All right. Constitution. Here we go.
Holding our breath.
I'm just going to be
Okay.
incredibly average.
You're a
dig.
farmer.
Intelligence. Let's see if I'm a bright farmer. Wow. All right.
A 14.
Whoa.
Okay.
Excellent.
We have
Excellent.
our wizard or artificer.
Yeah. I invented irrigation. All right. Wisdom. All right. Hot rolls over here. I'm pumped. 10.
10 wisdom. Got it. And charisma.
And finally, how savvy am I? Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
Ow.
This changes a lot,
Oof.
Nate. A 15
Bard.
charisma.
Yeah.
We've got a bard.
Yeah,
Let's go.
maybe. I actually I wanted to. I forgot
Can I
to.
give Tim my 14?
I actually forgot. I wanted to just call out just audibly for the audience here. So Tim, you received a 8, 9, 12, 9, 6, and 7.
Yes.
Nate, you just got an 11, 9, 11, 14, 10, and 15. Again, both of you still have the 14 to replace one of those. So you have a lot of options here, everybody.
Great.
Good.
You're doing all right. All right. I believe John would be up next. I'm not going to even guess with anybody else, but let's go to
You are
John.
correct.
Let's go to John.
I think Fritz has me. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, John.
Well,
Do your best.
yep. Let me click those buttons well. All right. All right, so that'll be a 10 for strength.
Okay. We still have yet to get our barbarian.
A 7 for dexterity. Cool. So I'm
Okay.
going to drop my warhammer. All right. Constitution.
11.
11.
I'm waiting for that 5. Somebody to get a 5 for con.
That was the one I was the most nervous about. I'm definitely happy. I might have some hit points. All right. Let's go for intelligence. Perfect.
6.
Oh, that's so awesome. So that's a 6, everyone, for
This
intelligence.
is great.
I think
this
I
is
can
great.
communicate, but I don't know if I speak 2 languages.
No.
We'll see.
Your
All right.
common may be suspect at best.
Yeah. Broken common. Okay. Wisdom.
9.
A 9.
Okay.
You know what? I mean, my intelligence was that low. So was my wisdom. Makes sense. All right. Am I endearing? Let's see. 11. Okay.
Those were some bad rolls. Tim had at least a +1. You have a 10, 7, 11. 6, 9, 11. Again, you've got the 14 and you got perhaps some racial bonuses. So we'll check back in with you in a minute. All right. Let's go back to the group here. Who is up? Chris or Fritz?
I'll jump in there because these guys have used up all the bad rolls. for the
No, it's my
algorithm.
turn.
Fritz has
All
spoken.
right, we'll let Chris do it.
Fritz has
Go ahead,
spoken.
Someone's got to get the 18.
It's all you.
Can we do
Take
it?
it.
All right. We got to get it.
I have faith in the dice gods.
Let's see.
When
All
you're
right, so
ready.
we got to do.
All right, when you're ready. Did you go? No.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh.
Oh!
How about them dice gods now?
Oh!
3 for those at home.
That's a 3 for strength, everybody.
3.
A 3.
Oh.
Think
Are
of
you
the,
allowed to wear armor, or is it too?
Knocked over by a strong breeze.
just think of the role playing opportunities here.
That is great. You're like Raceland.
That's just, I'm not even. He's like a 11. All right, dexterity.
That was fantastic. I'm just going back to the main screen. You can see everybody's elated here. All right, dexterity of 11.
11. All right. I at least need the con here to
Max it out.
offset this. All right, here we go.
All right, big roll.
Oh,
11. Okay.
11.
I have 11s.
11s. Yeah, it's been popular.
Did it do 2 11s? What are we up to, Bobby? Up to intelligence? Or what was that, the
Intelligence next.
intelligence?
Yeah. hmm
The
So
one
we're
Fritz.
at wisdom.
Intelligence, then wisdom.
All right, so we got intelligence. I need that 18 now. It's the only way I'm going to survive is maybe a spellcaster or something.
Maybe wisdom. That's where you want the 18. 13, intelligence.
13. And charisma. 3 strength. There's no coming back from that.
Well, you could replace it.
That's
You
going to
could.
be your 14.
Yeah.
Replace that with the 14. Your numbers are not bad.
Hey,
Oh, now.
strong
Wisdom.
ending.
Wisdom 15.
All right, so what are we looking at? Strength
You-
3.
You need one more though. I only have 5 stats. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3,
One more?
4, 5. Yeah, I have 5. That was your wisdom, and then your charisma.
We got charisma.
9.
9.
Okay, this is interesting. I don't know what you should do here. Part of me wants you to leave the 3 and make that charisma higher and just be a cleric. I don't know, but that is that's just me. I can't speak for you, but there's a lot
Cleric,
of
though, I'm gonna have
interesting
to-
roles.
I'm gonna have to get up there with the that Warhammer or that mace to get in combat. I can't do any combat.
No, not with a 3. Although your dex is an 11. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie, it's not great. But we'll see. You have
we're
that
gonna-
14.
We're gonna think about it.
Okay, so everybody, Fritz, you got a 3, 11, 11, 13, 15, which is the high roll of the day, and a 9. I am going to share with you Jeff's stats. Jeff rolled like a boss. Jeff rolled a 14 for strength, a 10 for dexterity, a 12 for constitution, 14 for intelligence, 10 for wisdom, and 14 for charisma. So he didn't roll one negative roll stat, and he still has the 14. So he's gonna he could potentially end up with he is going to end up with 4 14s, which is higher than point buy. So he made out like a bandit. All of you rolled how I expected, which was pretty pedestrian, some really funny ones, and you got the 14 saving grace. So with that being said, what are your initial thoughts here?
I still have to roll.
Chris hasn't.
Oh.
rolled.
How'd I forget? Chris,
You're just setting the stage for the big dice.
Here we go.
here we go.
All right, let's see if this works.
We're ready. Wow.
No.
So a 6 for
A
strength.
6.
Pretty roguey, maybe.
Come on, come on.
Ooh,
Oh
my
no.
goodness. A 9 for dex. You're all starting off really slow with those physical stats.
I don't like this at all. Come on. Oh,
Oh my gosh. 8?
what is wrong with these dice?
Shake them up. Come on. Change of color.
How do I make them roll on the table?
Oh, they're rolling. Oh, they're not rolling. Yeah, if you go to the settings on the right, you can enable the 3D dice.
I want 3D dice. There
Top
we
right,
are.
the cog
Yeah, I got that.
enable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how do I get back? Sorry, guys. Okay, so
You good?
can I just roll like in the chat? I was using that thing on the left. I don't want to use that. That's bad.
You can type it in the chat. Yeah.
How do I type it?
You hit /roll space 3d6. And you can just hit down arrow to keep populating that when you want to roll the next one.
To roll? Oh, look, see?
15
go,
for
that's-
intelligence. And wisdom is up next. A 8. You are the wizard, Chris. You are the wizard. And a charisma. A 5. You're the wizard. You're the grumpy,
Yeah,
angry
that's a
wizard.
wizard.
So, Chris, you have 6, 9, 8, 15, 8, and 5. And again, you have a 14 to throw around. So, I'm very...
Bob, the last one was a 6.
Oh,
Don't
6?
want to short him too much.
No, we
Thanks
don't
for
want to...
looking out for that point.
The charisma's a 6. All right. So, everybody, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
I'm racking my brain.
I feel like I have a lot of options. I could do anything with charisma or intelligence as their majors.
It's funny how this is a non-magical adventure, and I think all of us did fairly well with intelligence.
6. Speak for yourself there, Chris.
So let's talk about what's fairly well. Let's really quickly.
We got Fritz at a 13, Nate at a 14, Chris at a 15. For
My
intelligence.
highest is charisma, though.
I will say, Jeff, with his stats, said he would obviously, because he could really play anything, he was thinking of fighter originally. And to be honest, you all need a fighter because none of you have good
I don't know,
physical...
Bob. I had my heart pretty set on it after rolling an 8 strength. I was pretty sure I was going to be the fighter.
Yeah. Like, it's one thing if you had like a strength of 6 or 8 or whatever, and your dex was high, you could be a dex-based fighter. or anything really. But you know, all of you, not one positive roll. That's amazing. I don't even know how it's possible.
I was thinking with that 14, get rid of that. Well, two options. Play the 3 strength for the lulls, or dump the 14 into strength and use the wisdom of 15 to play a monk. Be a pretty ho-hum monk, but not
That's
exactly
actually-
a fighter or barbarian, but maybe a second line fighter.
You're saying replace the 11 dex with a 14.
No, I'm saying replace the 3 strength with 14.
Oh, 3
then
strength. Oh,
So I could do a sort of a wisdom strength monk.
I think you might be better with the dex for AC, and you can use your dex for your unarmed strikes. So that might be the way to go. I feel like using strength as a monk is tough because you want your dex for AC. But I don't know. You could manage to do some sort of
I gotta look in the book. I don't even know if I can stand up with 3 strength.
Yeah, you won't. Well, you know, being a monk would be good because you don't wear armor, so you wouldn't have to worry about carrying stuff. You just have to have Jeff carry all your stuff, or a cart, a mule. That's possible.
I heard we get a bag of holding at level 1.
Not in this campaign. We'll have to talk about some
It's
gold
very
as well.
home world without magic. Bag of holdings just kicking around.
Just to be clear, it's not that there isn't magic. It's that it's rare for someone to practice it. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's see. Let's go to somebody. Tim, we came to you first. What are you thinking?
I'm torn between where I'm going to dump my 14 into. I could definitely go for the 14 into strength and become a con strength barbarian, or I could dump it into dex and become a dex con rogue. But I'm okay with either one of those.
So you're thinking rogue
Rogue
or
or barbarian, probably, depending on what spot we need to fill here.
Yeah, your stats are looking pretty
Very
pretty
vanilla.
rough. Yeah. All right, so I'm penciling you in for rogue or, I guess, barbarian.
Yeah, we'll see what comes around. If anyone else needs to fill one of those spots, I'll take the other side of that coin.
Okay. Does everybody? I mean, Jeff will talk more throughout the week, but do you think you want him to play the fighter or the sort of the strong tank?
Happy to have a frontline fighter standing in front of the rest of us with low con.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was kind of hoping that direction, so I think that will fit well with him. All right, so you've got a fighter. Tim could play a rogue. Our intelligence people. Chris, what are you thinking?
I think since the dice granted me the intelligence, I have to go with the spellcaster.
Yeah, I think that the wizard does fit here well.
You know, maybe I'll swap out the con to get some hit points so I survive, and rely upon be a summoner, to sit back and summon things.
You could do that. There at the keep, there is a wizard. So you might be able to learn from the wizard, which is how we're gonna, kind of role play the leveling up aspect of it. Obviously, gaining experience and stuff like that's going to be important. But like when it comes to how you're learning, how you're progressing, you've heard that there's a wizard at the keep, so maybe you can learn from him.
Excellent.
Let's go to the next intelligence person, which is Nate.
I mean, I have a 14 intelligence, but I have a 15 charisma. Does anyone else have anything like that in charisma?
I don't think so. I think we're all pretty ugly.
So I figured it'd probably make sense for me to go with cleric or paladin. I mean, obviously I'm set up for a bard, but I'd be happy to go cleric or paladin, be a bit more of a healer, a little less magic focused, I guess. Any thoughts on that?
You said
folks?
bard. You said bard.
Well, oh, can you hear me? Am I a little
Yeah.
tough?
I can hear you.
I think cleric or paladin.
The wisdom is the harsh part. You replace that with the 14?
Oh yeah, I would just put the 14 in there.
Okay. Yeah, that does work.
I don't know a character that uses charisma and intelligence, right?
No.
Yeah.
The bard, well, not really, just really
Well, the
charisma.
bards have skills, right, that are based on intelligence.
No, that's
They have
3.5.
charisma and dex,
Uh,
and I could drop the dex for the 14. Happy to do. I could be a paladin, kind of a fighter, or cleric, kind of a healer fighter.
I think we're all gonna need some heals. So
You could be a very like heavily leaning into the support role cleric, where you are not really a combatant. You're using spells to fight, and mostly heal people. That sounds like if you were to replace that wisdom with the 14, and
Yep.
I don't know, bump it up with the racial ability, or if you were to just keep it at a 14, that seems like it fits that sort of support role really well.
What's your strength, Nate?
11.
Paladin would be tough.
He'd have to replace that with the 14.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it is always nice to have some extra people soaking up some damage.
I'm really happy with any of these.
And use
Okay.
paladins also double as healers, which is phenomenal.
Sure.
So we've got the paladin cleric option with Nate. We've got the wizard with Chris. And we got the rogue potential with Tim. Let's see, John, what are you thinking?
Well, considering I have no plus rolls, not a one, I was graced with the amazingness of 3 zeros in a 10 for strength, an 11 for con, and an 11 for charisma. So I'm a little hard pressed to decide what exactly I'm capable of doing.
Well, do you have any idea on race? Do you think it'd be human?
That's the thing. Yeah, it's going to come down to the racial bonuses. And off the top of my head, I mean, I can think of some of the main ones. But yeah, human does give to everything. So that would be nice. And then maybe replace the dexterity. And then be able to play a rogue. It's all tough. The 7 dexterity feels really terrible. I feel like I can eat the 6 and the 9 wisdom and intelligence. So I'm kind of leaning that 14 into dex and then seeing what I want to do from there.
That's not bad. Rogue does kind of work there if you were to replace the dex.
And get racial bonus to charisma.
Right, even if you were to just go with the variant human, you can increase your con and your charisma, which are good for rogues, and go kind of be a jack of all trades, so to speak.
Turn our zeros into plus ones.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you might be a good rogue combination as well. Fritz?
Yeah, so I'm thinking I got to do something with that wisdom because it's a 15. So first thought is, again, dump the 14 into strength and go druid.
Ooh, this sounds interesting here.
Just leverage second line healer and maybe some of those druid skills if we're going to be in the wilderness or we're going to be out there outside of the keep. Some support. Or dump that 14 into strength and just be a generic fighter.
No, that would be a waste of that 15. You're right, Fritz. I think
go with the druid.
I like it.
Also, your stats suck, but who cares if you're a brown bear?
Right. Well, eventually to that aspect, get those to get a little tanky, a little more support. I mean, that's where I'm looking right now.
I
think that 15.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. That's a good call, Druid. I like that a lot. And they do kind of round out a group because they kind of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what Jeff had when we spoke. He said he was thinking of doing the when it came to being a fighter, he actually played a character who was a halfling fighter, a battle master, and he played it on my Candlekeep streams. He was thinking that doing that character from level 1, so a halfling fighter. If that's the case, we then would have a fighter, a wizard. Tim and John have to decide maybe what they would like to do, but they could kind of go anyway. Nate could be the cleric or paladin, the spiritual leader of the group. Druid for Fritz, and yeah, so that rounds everything out. I like that a lot. It sounds pretty good. All right. Let's see here. Stefano says sorcerer, good too, but I don't know who he's referring to. Sorcerer for Nate, maybe? The 15 charisma? But I do want to limit it. Remember, I think if we're going to have a wizard, I'd like to keep it there. The arcane caster, the cleric is the religious leader, or the paladin would be the religious leader. And the druid, Fritz, I'm going to say that if you wanted to be a druid, that does make sense. And you would just maybe be someone who doesn't overtly display their powers for fear of, retaliation, turning into animals eventually, or, the spells that you have are all more nature. Maybe you trick people into believing it's just nature and it's not you.
Yeah. Get that role playing on.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts from Tim and John? Because you were the two that are more up in the air.
Yeah, John, you want to go rogue and I can go barbarian?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Love it.
I think Rogan is the one that sounds the best for me too. So if you're in, that sounds perfect.
That's perfect for me. I'll do it. I'm stat 14. It's strength.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Strength of 14. Your con is at 12. Maybe you go with a racial bonus to bump one of them up.
Yeah.
What are we thinking race-wise?
Great question.
Only one option for me. I'm going to be a gnome.
Okay.
Nice.
I love how that was the immediate only one option.
Got to get those boosts. The gnomes have the +2 intelligence, so.
All right, so we got gnome wizard. And we have a halfling fighter. Let's see here. Let's see. Nate, any ideas for you?
For my class? No.
For race. Race.
Race. Not yet, although I've never played a human, which is weird.
Humans are all right.
I'm going classic with the player's handbook in front of me. If you see me flipping pages, I like it. Yeah, I think I might just go human. See what that's all about.
Okay. That works. By the way, I think I fixed Jeff's video.
Oh, we gotta watch.
Yeah, I think we're gonna watch it.
All right,
this
everybody.
also,
So I've got Jeff here.
Definitely
Since this
fixed
is
it because it started. So let's sit back and relax and watch Jeff's video. Maybe that'll lighten us a little bit as to what we should do. All right. And by the way, I mentioned this before. Actually, let me just go back to the main scene so I can see all of you. Because while, let's see here. No, actually, we'll just play it. But Jeff has a really interesting story here, so let's hear it. I'm going to play it. Here we go. Everybody, so I've got Jeff here. Since this is our session 0, why don't you tell everybody what your experience with D&D is?
Well, I started playing D&D in, I want to say, about 1979. I was a freshman in high school. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time, and I had just moved there. My best friend Kirk was a big war gamer. This is back Avalon Hill SPI. We came across Melee and Wizard from Metagaming, which was a fantasy skirmish game was written by Steve Jackson.
I never heard of those.
Then we got the white box of D&D, but the white box of D&D didn't have a combat system in it. It just had a reference to the chainmail rule book, which in Austin, Texas in 1979 you couldn't find. So we had D&D, but we couldn't play it until we got the Blue Holmes beginner set, and that gave us combat tables for levels 1 to 3, so we could start playing. Player's Handbook came out first, then we had Player's Handbook, and we started playing AD&D, but we didn't have the Dungeon Master's Guide yet, so because it wasn't out. So we were starting to play D&D with pieces that we were just cobbling together, and we were playing edition AD&D. until I want to say 83, 84, when we discovered Champions. And then we started playing Hero System. And at the meantime, I was working first. My first job out of high school was, I lived in Austin, was stuffing game boxes for Steve Jackson games. I walked in there one day and I said, "Hi, I need a job and you need me." And I talked my way into a job assembling pocket box games for Steve Jackson, and eventually worked my way over onto the editorial side. And I worked for Steve as originally a paste up artist, and then ultimately an editor, and finally I was the assistant managing editor for a little while. But so yeah, from about 82 to 87 or so, I worked for Steve on and off. I was there for the beginning of GURPS. I oversaw the deluxe edition of Illuminati, and I actually did the card art for the original Illuminati game. So if you have the old 1980 whatever it was Illuminati set that came in a pocket box, the little tiny cards, those were my cartoons.
Look at this.
So that's me going way back. So then I was out of games for almost 20 years. Didn't play D&D between first edition and fifth edition.
You played in my Curse of Strahd campaign.
It was the first D&D campaign I'd played in about 20 years. Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. And so if anybody asks, how long have you been playing D&D, you can say, I was here before the Dungeon Master's Guide.
That is exactly true. In fact, I found my books in a box recently in the attic, and I'm like, okay, well, there's my monster manual, there's my player's handbook, but where the hell is my Dungeon Master's Guide? And then I realized there was one book that had duct tape on the spine. And I pulled that book out, and it was my Dungeon Master's Guide because it had been used so hard in the 4 or 5 years we played AD&D.
So you excited for this campaign then?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to the old school. I like the system in 5e. I do think it's the best designed version, but I like the idea of going back to a more traditional kind of, sort of dungeon crawly. Nothing has recreated the kind of terror that you had when you knew that you were 3 levels down and you only had 2 torches left.
Yeah, that's the kind of the feel that I want to establish with this game. So with that being said, how we're going to establish that feel, as we've already told the audience, is we're going to be rolling our stats here.
Okay, so first one, 14. I can live with that. Strength 14. Yeah. 10. Dex 10. Okay, that's not the end of the world. 12. Con 12.
You're rolling hot.
By 3d6 standards, I am.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, 14. I'm a monster. 10.
Wow.
14. Whoa.
My goodness. So just to summarize, Jeff, you rolled really hot. You got a 14, 10, 12, 14, 10, and a 14 in that order. You have the option of replacing one of the 10s with a 14, or perhaps bumping that con up to a 14 with your freebie. All right. Okay. So we're going to end this video here. Back to session 0. All right. So first off, isn't that amazing? He had all that cool art, and he was on all those Steve Jackson games.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I mean, everybody knows like Munchkin and stuff like that, but the GURPS, those are OG, RPGs. So he's got a lot of experience. That's why I was like, we got to get Jeff in this thing. All right. So now you're all envious of his stats as well.
Yes.
So is the goal to still stick with him being the frontline fighter here?
I think so.
Sounds good to me.
Makes the most sense.
All right. So let's see here. So we're gonna pause here now because you're gonna making the characters and stuff like that. We can finish them up throughout the week. But just to review, we've got potentially a halfling fighter, gnome wizard, and Chris. Barbarian for Tim. Nate is gonna go with a
Paladin.
holy paladin. There we go, paladin. John's gonna go with the rogue, and Fritz is going with the druid. Or, some variation of these could change, but that's what we're thinking right now. Some of you know the races, some of you are not too certain on that. let's talk a little bit about the story. So how are we going to get the group together here? You're going to be starting on the way to the keep, but what would be the motivation that you're all together? Do you know each other? Do some of you only know some of you? What are your thoughts about how we can bring this group together?
On their race, I feel like I would like to just kind of know where we're all coming from. I feel like if there's two of us that are like a specific race, the way D&D works, maybe that would make more sense for storyline for me.
Then you must know each other if you're both dwarves.
Kind of, yeah. Going to keep on the Borderlands. I put my foot in my mouth. I feel like
Yes.
You're good. You're good. No, I hear you.
fantastical. It's like two Americans or two French people or two Guyanans. They know each other, right?
Exactly. They must know each other. Well, it could be that way. I mean, you could be like, childhood friends, brothers, sisters, whatever you decide. I don't care the relationship, but based on what your maybe initial concepts were from even before you rolled. I know you might have had an idea in your mind for what character you might have wanted to play, a backstory. Is there anything that you think would get you all together, or maybe even if you're don't all know each other, maybe you met just on a caravan going north to the Borderlands?
I imagine there's defenders of the Borderlands or people maybe hired by the keep or someone like that.
The keep has a militia, basically. Yeah, they have guards. They have a castellan who is the kind of like the governor as well as the leader of the guard patrol there. So there's some sort of fortification. This is a fortress for sure.
Yeah,
and it's pretty large. It's about the size of like a football stadium.
sure. Perhaps some of the fighters or those who fight in the group were like disgruntled and kicked out of the militia or something like that, or maybe they're part of the militia and decide to join this group, something like that.
I'm happy to be a disgruntled barbarian.
I say you just kind of throw us all together,
That
and
too.
we learn about each other as we play. Right? Rather than the kind of more tedious, I'm a wizard, and role playing out all the stuff that we all know anyway. I think it'd be better just to kind of tease our little character traits out to each other as we start to learn each other, and that'll be more fun for everybody to watch too.
This is
I
why
like
the
that.
veterans are needed.
I like that. Just
I like
have
that.
them attack us.
I like that for a couple of reasons too, because not only is it interesting to see your characters played out, but also you all suck, right? Like you're terrible. This is the first
Speak for yourself.
adventure you're going on. You're newbies. In fact, I think the book even insults you all. Yeah.
After
I
playing
gotta
the
look it
Candlekeep,
up.
it was like the first time we've been insulted by books before, so.
Yeah, it's true.
With a
Yeah,
3
but nobody got
intelligence,
18.
I bet anyone's insulted by trying to read them.
Yeah, right here it says, "You are indeed members of that exceptional class, adventurers who have journeyed to the keep on the Borderlands in search of fame and fortune. Of course, you are inexperienced, but you have your skills and a heart that cries for adventure. You have it in you to become great, but you must gain experience and knowledge and greater skill. There's much to learn, and if you are willing and eager to be about it. Each of you has come with everything you could possibly be given to you to help. Now you must fend for yourselves. Your fate is in your hands, for better or worse." So that kind of sums it up. You're all really inexperienced adventurers. So if you have this epic backstory, like Chris was saying, we don't need to hear it. We'll find out naturally as it goes. So I'm gonna set up a scenario in which you will all either meet each other or you don't know each other at the beginning, and you're going to be headed to the Borderlands. So that's how we'll do it. We'll do it very natural. Nobody knows anybody, and you'll figure out a lot about each other over the next couple of sessions. All right. Any last thoughts before we end this stream here?
This is going to be a lot of fun. So, Bobby, what app are we using to actually make the characters?
I can show you. We're going to be using Roll20 to put the characters in. Although if you have D&D Beyond, I've set it up so that you can like put your characters in, or if you have a character in another Roll20, you could move them over, but you would be creating this from scratch. So one way or the other, yeah, it's going to go into the Roll20 character sheet, which I set up for, I think, everybody except maybe Tim, maybe. I don't know, but
yeah, I joined this. I think I joined late this afternoon. So
no worries. Like I said, we're going to create the characters over the next week, and finalize everything. We're going to also discuss over the next week, because I still have to decide initiative system, but here are a couple of thoughts before we end here. I don't really like rolling for initiative in the moment. I think it takes a long time, even with Roll20's ease and access to the tokens, where you can kind of set up the initiative. I just like having everything set or not set. Like you could just go in any order, group initiative, so to speak. I do that with my Icewind Dale group, and it works really well. But with 6 players, I'd imagine there could be more. I think I should go here. No, I should go. And I don't want to get into all that stuff. It works really well when the group is experienced with it and they, a smaller group. We could do another initiative system where we kind of set the initiative every round or every session. Like you can give me a batting order for this individual episode. And anytime we get into a combat, that's the order we go in. You can kind of tweak that, go, try different lineups, so to speak, from session to session. But at least we all know, so that when we get to combat, there's no like time we have to stop and take out of the game. The other last thing I was thinking about is if we just rolled ahead of time, like at the end of a session, we end the stream and we all roll, and I'll record like 5 initiatives down and have them set. And, when we get into combat, I can just say, we're using this initiative: Nate, Tim, Fritz, Chris, John, Jeff. Something like that. What are your thoughts?
That last one is my vote.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 3 people like that. John, Fritz, you good? Okay. I just, again, want to make it so that it's seamless. Combats don't come to a stop when we start. So I can deal with that. That seems okay. We're going to roll initiative ahead of time and have them all set up, ready to go. All right. Last thing on my list here. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered everything. There's a couple updates. So Wednesday next week, which is, remind me of the date, everybody. July 1st? June 30th. June 30th, session 1. This is normally going to be scheduled for a bi-weekly schedule on Thursdays, but the first few weeks, the start of summer, got a lot of things going on with commitments and stuff like that. So we're going to be playing right away in 6 days. Then the next time we play is going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, July 22nd. That was what we said in the email. So there's going to be a little bit of a disruption at the beginning, but we're going to be posting these on YouTube as well as Twitch, so you'll be able to find them easily on YouTube. If you subscribe to the channel and you hit that bell icon, you can set it so that it'll notify you whenever we go live. So you don't have to remember. I'm all about not remembering. Just send me a notification, remind me, and then I'm good. So you can do that. And then we'll be on a bi-weekly schedule after July 22nd. Every other week we'll be playing regularly here, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This weekend, Sunday. Do you know what I'm doing this Sunday, everybody? Some of you know. Yes, John knows. We'll be playing the 12th level adventure from Candlekeep Mysteries on Sunday morning. So wake up, get your coffee. 10:30 a.m. We're going to be kicking off that level 12 adventure, the Book of Inner Alchemy. And then, of course, on Tuesdays, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. So a lot of stuff going on here. You're going to want to be a part of it. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe. You can see all my technical gaffes going on here. We got Jeff's video coming in different parts. It's all good. And Jeff will be here in person next time. All right. Everybody, we're ready to sign off?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
See you
We'll
all
see
soon.
you on the tabletop,
Sounds
everybody.
good.
Good night.
Take it easy.